If you're a die-hard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. The NFL world was rocked this week when a report out of Cleveland revealed that Deshaun Watson, the embattled starting quarterback for the Browns, has taken rookie Shedeur Sanders under his wing during off-season training. According to veteran Browns insider Mary Kay Cabot, Watson has been a surprisingly vocal and involved presence in the quarterback room, especially with the younger players. While recovering from his Achilles injury, Watson has been praised for his leadership and mentorship, at least within the team facility. But as news of this relationship spread beyond the locker room, it sparked a firestorm of reaction online. Everyone, it seems, had the same thought: is Deshaun Watson really the right guy to be mentoring a young quarterback like Shedeur Sanders? The internet didn't hesitate to respond, and the takes came fast, furious, and dripping with sarcasm. Social media lit up with NFL fans voicing their unease, and in many cases, outright mockery of the idea that Watson is being positioned as a mentor. The issue, of course, stems from Watson's heavily publicized off-field controversies. The former Texan star faced over a dozen allegations of sexual misconduct during massage sessions, leading to a lengthy investigation, civil lawsuits, and a suspension from the league. While no criminal charges were filed, the situation left an indelible stain on Watson's reputation. So when word spread that he was now offering guidance to Shedeur, son of Deion Sanders, and one of the most closely watched rookies of this class, fans couldn't help but react with a mixture of disbelief and dark humor. "This is laugh out loud funny," wrote one user, summing up what many were thinking. For Shedeur Sanders, who enters the league with both talent and expectation, the optics of this relationship are already complicated. He's not just any rookie. He's been under a spotlight for years, thanks in large part to his father, Coach Prime, and his own standout collegiate performances at Jackson State and Colorado. With his trademark swagger and leadership, Shedeur isn't a guy looking to be molded from scratch. Yet he's still young, still adapting to the speed and complexity of the NFL, and still in need of guidance as he carves out his professional identity. Ideally, that mentorship would come from a seasoned, respected veteran, someone without a cloud of scandal hanging over their head. But in the quarterback room in Cleveland, that veteran just happens to be Deshaun Watson. To be clear, Watson's efforts inside the building have not gone unnoticed. Cabot's reporting paints the picture of a man trying to rehabilitate not just his body but his image. She described him as a positive voice, supporting all four quarterbacks vying for snaps, including Sanders and fellow rookie Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Watson, she wrote, is attending meetings, offering tips, cheering guys on, doing all the little things that a leader is supposed to do. And from a strictly football perspective, Watson does have knowledge to pass along. He's been to the Pro Bowl 3 times, led the league in passing, and at his peak was considered one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL. If Sanders is going to learn something about reading defenses, pocket awareness, or navigating the pressure of being a franchise quarterback, Watson is, on paper, more than qualified. But that's the thing, football doesn't exist in a vacuum. The NFL, for all its talk about second chances and redemption, is a league where perception matters almost as much as performance. And the perception of Deshaun Watson right now remains toxic to a large portion of the fan base. Browns fans themselves are split. Some hope Watson can bounce back and justify his massive, fully guaranteed contract, while others haven't forgiven the franchise for signing him in the first place. Now, add Shedeur Sanders into the mix, a player many are rooting for as a potential breakout star, and you've got a pairing that feels less like a mentor-mentee relationship and more like a PR grenade waiting to explode. Online, the reaction has been brutally honest, and in many cases, brutally funny. "Why does this feel like the plot of Training Day?" asked one commenter, referencing the classic film about a crooked mentor corrupting a rookie cop. Another quip, "So when Shedeur begins to visit dozens of massage therapists, he'll have them sign an NDA up front," an obvious jab at Watson's past. Others invoked cultural references like The Sopranos, calling Watson the Jackie Jr. figure to Sanders' Ralphie, suggesting a doomed relationship from the start. Even fans who support the Browns couldn't help but groan. "The pain of being a Browns fan never freaking ends," wrote one, echoing the sentiment of a long-suffering fan base. For Shedeur, the stakes are high. He's not just trying to make a roster, he's trying to establish himself as a future face of a franchise. Every snap, every practice, every preseason rep matters. And while it's clear he's working overtime, as Cabot reported, to stay, In the mix, the influence around him matters just as much as his talent. There's always a fine line between learning from someone's experience and absorbing their habits, good or bad, and when that someone is Deshaun Watson, the potential risk isn't just reputational. It could affect Sheddeur's trajectory, the way he's perceived in the league, and even the way coaches and teammates interact with him. From a narrative standpoint, though, it's almost a perfect or to disastrous, depending on how you look at it. You've got Shedeur, the brash, confident rookie with superstar pedigree. You've got Watson, the fallen star trying to climb back to the top, burdened by scandal and underachievement. Put them together in the same quarterback room and you don't just have a mentorship. You have a storyline tailor-made for drama. For better or worse, if Shedeur succeeds and credits Watson for helping him grow, it's a redemption arc. But if things go south, people will point to this moment, this relationship, and say, that's where it started going wrong. Of course, we're still early in the preseason, and much can change. Sanders hasn't even taken a snap in a real NFL game yet, and Watson still isn't back to full strength. But with every report that surfaces, every viral comment that circulates, the pressure mounts, and in Cleveland, where quarterback drama has become a grim tradition, this is just the latest chapter. Whether this pairing leads to mutual success or mutual disappointment, one thing's for sure, everyone will be watching. Because in today's NFL, the story off the field is sometimes bigger than the one on it. And right now, Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson are both starring in one heck of a story. It's a delicate dance between mentorship and manipulation, between inspiration and influence. Can Watson genuinely help Shedeur become a better quarterback without casting a shadow over his journey? Can Shedeur take what's valuable and discard what's dangerous? Only time will tell. But one thing's certain, when news broke that Watson had taken Sanders under his wing, fans didn't celebrate, they winced, and that, more than anything, says a lot about the strange, uncomfortable, and utterly compelling nature of this new NFL duo. Whether it turns out to be a wise pairing or a cautionary tale, everyone had the same reaction for a reason. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. There's a storm brewing in Cleveland, and if the whispers out of Bria are even half true, the Browns might be heading straight into one of the most dramatic locker room rifts the NFL has seen in years. The franchise that was supposed to be turning a corner, finally pulling itself out of decades of mediocrity, is suddenly caught in the eye of a controversy that could shake the very foundation of its locker room. The latest, star defensive end Myles Garrett, the face of the Browns defense, a locker room leader and arguably the most respected player on the roster, has reportedly refused to share a huddle with quarterback Deshaun Watson during team activities. That's right, according to multiple sources close to the situation. Garrett is drawing a hard line, and what began as tension is now looking more like a full-blown internal Cold War now. Let's make one thing clear, nothing official has been confirmed by the team, no press conference, no statement, no coach stepping up to calm the fire, but the silence is, in itself, deafening. In the NFL, where image is everything and locker room cohesion is treated like gold, this kind of rumor doesn't surface without reason. Garrett refusing to be in the same huddle as Watson, that's not just a disagreement, that's symbolic, that's a power play. And the fact that it's coming from Garrett, who's been nothing but professional over the years, tells you this is deeper than a petty argument or a minor miscommunication. There's something personal here, something broken, and it might be unfixable. Behind the scenes, rumblings suggest that Garrett has grown increasingly disillusioned with the way the franchise has handled Watson, both on and off the field, since the Browns traded for the controversial quarterback, giving up a king's ransom and guaranteeing him a record-setting contract. Amid ongoing off-field accusations, the locker room has reportedly been divided. Some players, privately, have never felt comfortable with the move. Others, especially veterans who've been grinding through losing seasons, feel like they're stuck carrying the fallout of a front office decision they had no part in. Garrett, it seems, might be the first to draw a public line in the sand. If you think this is just off-season drama that will blow over before week 1, think again. Sources say the tension between Garrett and Watson has been simmering for a while, but only recently reached a boiling point. During recent minicamp sessions, players noticed Garrett keeping his distance, avoiding eye contact, and not participating in drills where Watson was leading. It started subtly, skipped reps, different groups, but has now escalated to what insiders are calling a refusal to engage. One anonymous teammate reportedly said, "You can feel it. Myles is done pretending. If true, that's not just passive frustration. That's a public statement. Let's not forget Garrett isn't just some role player. He's the Browns' defensive cornerstone. The guy who puts quarterbacks on the turf and leads by example. If he's choosing to make a stand, people will notice. More importantly, people will follow. And that's the part that should have the Browns front office sweating. This isn't just about the players not getting along. This is about a locker room potentially splitting into factions. A team divided cannot compete, not in the AFC North, where every game is a war and every misstep gets punished. If Garrett's taking a stand, who's next? Interestingly, this rift might not have caught the coaching staff completely off guard. Rumor has it that head coach Kevin Stefanski has already had closed-door meetings with both Garrett and Watson in recent weeks. Some say the meetings were an attempt to patch things up. Others claim Stefanski was trying to lay down the law. Either way, if those meetings happened, and all signs suggest they did, they clearly didn't fix the problem. Garrett continues to distance himself, and Watson, for his part, has remained tight-lipped, avoiding any questions about leadership or chemistry. It's almost as if both men are silently daring the other to make the first move publicly. From a fan perspective, this is heartbreaking. After years of watching the Browns flounder, the team finally seemed poised for sustained success. A star-studded defense, elite talent on offense, and a coaching staff that, at least on paper, looked competent. But chemistry is the invisible glue that holds all that together. Without it, the machine falls apart, and what's happening now feels like the first domino. The locker room is whispering, the media is circling, and unless someone steps up soon, whether it's Stefanski, the GM, or even ownership, this thing could spiral fast. Garrett has never been one for drama, so if he's at this point, it's serious. Some insiders are even speculating whether this could lead to an actual trade request from Garrett. It sounds wild, right? Trading away your best defensive player, your leader, your captain, but nothing is impossible in the NFL. Especially if a player feels disrespected, unheard, or forced to play alongside someone he doesn't trust. And if Garrett believes that Watson's presence and the organization's unwavering support of him is compromising the team's integrity or his own values, he might see an exit as the only path forward. That would be seismic. That would send shockwaves through the league. There's also a growing belief that younger players in the locker room are quietly siding with Garrett. Not because of any personal hatred toward Watson, but because Garrett represents the grind, the culture, the climb. He's been there through the 115s, the 0 to 16s. He's earned his stripes. Watson, on the other hand, arrived with baggage, a massive paycheck, and hasn't exactly lit up the field if push comes to shove. Who would the locker room rally behind? That's the million-dollar question, and if the answer isn't Watson, then the Browns have a crisis on their hands that money can't fix for now. All eyes are on training camp. Will Garrett and Watson show signs of reconciliation? Will the Browns address the rumors or keep dodging questions? And most importantly, will this fractured relationship derail a season that, on paper, still holds promise? One thing's for sure, something is brewing in Cleveland, and it's bigger than just football. It's about culture, leadership, and the soul of a team trying to rise, but at risk of falling apart from the inside. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!